How's it going, guys? We're at Dallas Regionals. I have with me
Matthew Timms.
Awesome. Where are you playing this weekend?
I was playing Sceptile Vileplume this weekend.
Ooh, very spicy. Very awesome deck choice for this weekend, right?
Absolutely.
Nice. How was your record after day one?
So after day one, I ended 6-0-3, 6 wins, 3 ties. And then heading into day two, by the end of it, I was 9-3-3.
Awesome. All right, so let's get into the deck and see the 60 you're playing this weekend.
All right. Okay, so to start off the list, we are playing 4 of the Celestial Storm Tricos. Now, there actually is a difference between the two. This one has 70 HP, and the newer one from Lost Thunder has 60 HP, but it has an attack for 1 grass energy called Find a Friend, where you search your deck for a grass energy, or grass Pokemon, rather.
Right.
I chose to go with the 70 HP because Buzzwole is a good deck. The 60 HP Find a Friend just didn't work out for me. It just felt like the 10 HP made a bigger difference than being able to search for one card is. Now, the evolution for the Tricos here, this is actually the entire engine of the deck, and that's going to be the Grovyle from Lost Thunder. Grovyle has a neat little ability called Sunshine Grace, where once during your turn, it lets you search your deck for a grass Pokemon and put it into your hand. Meaning that even on turns where maybe you don't want a Sceptile, you can search for something like a Gloom that you don't need, and you can thin out your deck continually by Sunshine Gracing. Obviously, what you would do here is you evolve Trico into Grovyle, Sunshine Grace for another Grovyle, Sunshine Grace for another Grovyle. Exactly.
Busted.
Now, obviously, Grovyle isn't the main attacker of that deck. That's where we have Sceptile Gx. Sceptile Gx has a neat little attack for 60 damage. And 1 grass energy, and it discards a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. As you can imagine, it's really good against Zoroark.
Right.
Combined with the fact that you have 230 HP, Zoroark GX is never one-shotting. Yeah. There is no physical way Zoroark GX will ever one-shot you. His second attack is kind of cool. Does 130 damage, which is a pretty clutch number against things like Baby Buzzwole, whatever the likes are.
Right. You can two-shot a lot of things in the format.
You're two-shotting a lot of things, and what I like too is that you move energy around, so that way if you do Leaf Cyclone and the Sceptile goes down, you can easily just put that grass energy on the next Sceptile. Nice. Now, what I think a lot of people overlook here is Jungle Heal GX. Me personally, it was very valuable to me this weekend. When a Zoroark player would hit into me and I didn't quite have the cards I needed to respond, I can just Jungle Heal GX and kind of just restart the turn. That helps me out a lot. It's also great against Trevenant. If you Jungle Heal GX against Trevenant, great spot.
Awesome.
Anything with spread. So then the next card obviously is we do play 1 copy of the Sceptile from Celestial Storm with the ability Power of Nature. His attack is kind of whatever. 20 times. I mean, if you sit there and Leaf Cyclone, move a bunch of energy around, sometimes you can finish the game with him. His attack pairs really well with the Super Boost energy as well.
Right.
But he's pretty much there because Buzzwole is kind of a hard matchup for us because it's just Jet Punch, Jet Punch, Jet Punch, as well as Buzzwole, Garbodor, Shrine. I played against 1 Strong Arm Buzzwole this weekend, and Power of Nature just shut his whole deck down. He got out Landorus, and I two-shot him with the Leaf Cyclone.
Nice.
I played 1 Buzzgarb Shrine, and being that this deck is an item lock deck, he trash-lanced me for 20. And then his Sceptile, or his Buzzwoles weren't doing anything to me.
Yeah.
So that pretty much wraps up the Sceptile line here. Obviously next, it is a Sceptile Vileplume deck, so we're going to start with the Oddishes. Nothing special. These particular Oddishes, though, these are the Oddishes to play, because as you'll notice, they do resist water.
Ooh.
So against things like
Toad, stuff like that.
Archie's Blastoise. Those Articunos are going to have a hard time taking 2 prizes on the Oddish.
Nice.
Then obviously next up, we have Gloom. You play this Gloom for pretty much the same reason. The water resistance is better than any other attack on the other Glooms. If you want to double attach, Foul Odor is kind of whatever. And then obviously the lock part of the deck, we do play 2 Vileplume from Ancient Origins with the Irritating Pollen ability, meaning that both players can't play items. And pretty much you just make it so that my deck, the only items it plays are turn 1 consistency. After that, the deck goes on. What is funny about this Vileplume, though, is a lot of people like to Guzma it up, try and trap it in the active and slow me down.
Yeah.
So what I've been doing a lot this weekend is Leaf Cycloning energy onto the Vileplume.
Nice.
So when they try to mill me or stop me, they Guzma it up and they still get hit with a nice 70 damage.
What, a Solar Beam?
Yeah. So So people do not forget Vileplume can attack.
Vileplume can attack. Busted.
Now, kind of a tech card of choice, we do play a 1-1 Leafeon Gx line. Now, I do get a lot of criticism on playing the Furious Fist Eevee, but my biggest thing about it is you don't always want to use Leafeon. So for the games that you don't, and having a 2 retreat Eevee in the active is bad. It is very bad. So I play it because it has 1 retreat, and I don't play Floatstone. It's just way more convenient for me that way. The Leafeon Gx is actually here for 2 very good reasons. Breath of the Leaves is insanely good against Trevenant. If you're playing against Trevenant, Leafeon is the first thing you want to get, and you don't want to bench anything else. If you can get just Leafeon, you're good.
You're pretty much set.
And there are some games where if you start Eevee and it's not something like Zoroark, using the Energy Evolution ability up into Leafeon and then turn 1 Grand Bloom GXing is incredibly good, because then turn 2 you're getting out the Pollen Lock.
Yeah. You pretty much set up your board and you're golden.
Yeah. So obviously we play 1 Ditto just because we do play a bunch of stage 1s, where even though we were playing stage 2s, it can become a Gloom, it can become a Grovyle, but the best thing that it can become in this deck is the Cradilly from, I believe it's Plasma, is it Plasma Blast or Plasma Freeze?
One or the other.
Yeah. A very old card though, kind of fun. So Life Explosion lets you search your deck for a stage 2 for each grass energy attached to it. So if you have 1, you can search out a Sceptile, but the way I particularly use Cradilly is a lot of people like to play tech cards like Magnezone or like Swampert to try and get their game state a little further ahead, you know? Me personally, the Cradilly the Cradilly is my emergency exit kind of thing. So if my opponent is playing something like Vespiquen or maybe Night March or even Archie's, if they have a slow turn 1, Life Explosion for Vileplume more often than not just wins you the game.
Nice.
Or if your opponent's taking a lot of knockouts, I Life Explosioned out Baby Sceptile against Buzzgarb Shrine today. But this card is definitely one of the MVPs of the deck.
Awesome.
Now we play just 2 Tapu Lele because we do play the Bridget engine, so having a reliable source to go Wonder Tag Bridget is good. We play 1 copy of Pseudo-Ludo because Zoroark is very prevalent in the format, and that really slows him down. Now, being that it is an item lock deck, you would assume I'm not playing very many items, and you would be correct. I play 4 copies of Ultra Ball to search out Tapu Lele. I play 2 Pokemon Communication to pretty much search out Lele. And then if I happen to start computer search, we just go straight for the Bridget.
Nice.
Because pretty much after turn 2 or turn 3, any item left in my deck is just pointless.
Useless, yeah.
Now for the supporter lineup, we are a very supporter heavy deck.
Yeah.
So we play 2 Juniper just because draw support. Draw support is very important. And Juniper's pretty much, it's one of the go-to draw supporters. Yeah. We play 2 in, obviously this deck doesn't take prize cards very fast at first. Against things like Zoroark, you have to run them out of DCEs and then kind of sweep the field. So you'll get them down to about 2 prize cards, and then if you can go in Mock Cut, you're in a really good spot, because the odds are they're probably not finding another DCE if they have any left. The deck does play 2 copies of Guzma, because switching, obviously. 2 copies of Bridget. Now, this is a little different because the list that Nicholas Campbell was playing from Anaheim was only playing 1.
Right.
What ended up happening is I came to this conclusion because I was playing at a cup and I didn't have the Cradilly, and to me the Cradilly is a consistency card, so I put in a second Bridget, and I found without the second Bridget I was bricking more often than not, and with the second Bridget I was getting turn on Bridget all the time.
Nice.
Super consistent for me. We also play 2 Luzamine because we can't play VS Seeker, because obviously we like to item lock.
Right.
So the double Luzamine, obviously you go Luzamine, you get Luzamine back, and then you'll get one of your other supporters back, probably the 1-ofs.
The loop.
Yeah, everybody knows how the Luzamine loop works. We play 1 copy of Colress because if you're, especially playing against Zoroark, man, this is just a great draw supporter.
Yeah.
Like, you can't fight that. Now, one of the other differences between mine and Nicholas Campbell's list is he was playing 1 copy of Lily, but I found that the Lily was just kind of lackluster.
Yeah. So you get a turn 1, you pop off. If not, then it just
But
just
I'd
hangs
rather
out.
bridge it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I played against a lot of Zoroark players, and Hugh just seemed like a funny card. I like making people discard a bunch of cards from their hand, and more often than not, I'm drawing 2 or 3 cards off of it, or I'm discarding items from my hand that I can't play anyway.
You don't need it anymore.
Yeah. I do play 1 copy of Steven. There are a lot of turns where it's you just want an energy and then a supporter for next turn. And Steven is perfect. Just get the energy, that's about it.
Nice.
Now, I kind of went back and forth on this between the Brock's Grit and Karen, because Karen is really good against other things like Night March and Vespiquen, because you can Pollen Lock and then follow, or you can Karen and then follow up with Pollen Lock. But to me, the Brock's Grit was just so much more valuable because of the amount of control decks in the format. Things playing Plumeria and Team Skullgrunt. The Brock's Grit won me it definitely won me 2 Zoro control matchups today. So me personally, I would never change the Brock's Grit for a Karen. It's Brock's Grit. Another common card to play with the deck is AZ. You do play a couple heavy Pokemon and you don't play float stones, so manually attaching or treating is kind of whatever. Or you can heal damage off of it. AZ is just a good card, helps you move stuff around. Awesome. Now, another one of my personal favorite cards of this deck, and this won me many matches in the past 2 days, is Gardenia. And I put it in my deck at first simply because I actually owned the full art, and I thought it was kind of cool.
Right.
And I found myself in a lot of Zoroark matchups, a lot of them hitting me for about 100, 130 maybe if they got the band on first, trying to two-shot me without having to use Garbodor, or maybe they didn't have the Klefki, they can't play the Flowstone. So they're sitting there trying to two-shot me, slapping down the Gardenia and making them start over. Gardenia Mock Cut. If you can make them waste 3 DCEs on 1 Sceptile, it puts you so far ahead in the game.
Nice.
As well as 1 copy of Faba. Faba's really good against, it's just removing items because we don't play Field Blowers. So against things like Garbodor, Faba is our only way of removing the tool. What's kind of funny is when you fobbing off Klefkis against Zorogarb, because they can't play the float stones afterwards.
Yeah.
It's definitely an effective combo. Then getting rid of DCEs. You can never go wrong with lost zoning DCEs.
Exactly.
So as for the stadium count, we play 2 copies of Silent Lab and 1 copy of Life Force Prism Star. The Silent Lab is just there because it's more of a lock. I am not super reliant on basic abilities other than Pseudo Wudo and Tapu Lele, but after turn 1, I'm not really playing many Tapu Leles.
Right.
Also, Silent Lab turns off Klefki, meaning that Zorogarb players can't use Klefki to get out of my item lock. And then Life Force, we play 1 copy of Life Force Prism Star because healing 60 damage off of a random grass Pokemon is so good.
Busted.
Especially when paired with Gardenia, you can heal off 140 damage in 1 turn, and it's insanely good. And then for the energy lineup, we play 8 copies of Grass Energy and 1 Super Boost Energy. The deck plays tons of stage 2s.
Right.
The Super Boost is just clutch. I can't tell you how many times people would Guzma up Vileplume or Zoro Control. I had so many Zoro Control players Guzma up Vileplume and try and get it to stick.
And then Super Boost.
Yep. Get the second Sceptile down, Super Boost Retreat.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's pretty much the list.
Alright guys, that was the list right there. Alright guys, that was the list of this weekend. What was one of your toughest matches of day 1?
Out of day 1, the toughest matchup I faced was probably Zoroark Hand Control. Fortunately, I was fortunate enough to go first in the first game, and his red card Delinquent didn't do much because I was able to Sunshine Grace everything out. Nice. I got the lockdown, I mock cut off all 4 of his DCEs, he scooped, we went to game 2. He Exodia'd me, you know how it works, red card Delinquent turn 1 and playing...
red card.
Yeah, and then playing stage 2s combined with only having 1 card in hand doesn't work out. Then game 3 I got to go first again and we ended up going to time. But it was I actually wasn't too close to winning the 3rd game though, so I think time saved me from a loss there.
That's good. And then into day 2, how did you feel going into the meta, seeing it evolve around you with this deck?
Going into day 2, I was kind of scared because I only saw 1 other Sceptile player, and his list varied from mine greatly. Definitely greatly. I knew that there were a lot of Zoroark control players in day 2, and that's a tough matchup for me. I think more often than not, I think I have to settle for a tie. I was lucky enough though, when I played against Daniel Altavilla, I was lucky enough I knocked out 4 Orangaroos, or I knocked out the same Orangaroo 4 times and a Girafarig twice.
Nice.
Then I played Ryan Pina in another really tough matchup just because they just sit there and they strip off your energies. Pretty much what won me the game is I was able to Brock's Grit, and before they were able to use Girafarig to get lost the Brock's Grit, I was able to Lusamine it back into the hand. Both of those games, I won game 1, and then game 2 went to tie. Obviously, it's a very long matchup.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of Archie's whales. That definitely scared me because when they Towering Splash GX my bench and knock out all my Groviles and Glooms, I can't do anything about it. Luckily, I only did play against one of them though, and he got to go first, and that's pretty much what determines who wins. He went first, Towering Splash, knocked out all of my bench Pokemon. Game 2, I went first, and I Life Explosioned out Vileplume before he could Archie's.
Right.
And he lost. He scooped it up pretty much right when I said Life Explosion Vileplume. And then Game 3, he knocked out my Ditto in the active because I was trying to see if I could bait him into not Tower Splashing and try and get a little more set up. He knocked that out. I whiffed setting up, and then he Towering Splash knocked out. Then knocked out a Lele in the active, and my only out was a Lele in the active, Guzma up as a Rangaroo, and hope he didn't have the energy to retreat it. Unfortunately for me, he chorused and he found both of his water energy to retreat.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now that you played this deck, any changes you would make, any adjustments?
I really enjoyed it. I'd have to say, if I were to put one thing in the deck, I think I would play a Mr. Mime. I think if I had played Mr. Mime, I could have easily won the Whales matchup.
Nice. Okay, cool. We do have St. Louis coming up. That is standard. Any deck predictions for standard? Any decks that you're like excited about?
You know, it's really hard to say because right now I'm kind of on the Malamar Shrine train, and it's really good. But then you see a lot of random decks, like people playing Sceptile and Standard.
Right.
I played against that in a League Cup the other week, and against Spread, it's too good. I think there will be a fair amount of Sceptile just because I think Spread is just so good in this format right now.
Yeah. So. Yeah, the new set will be illegal.
Oh, that's right.
Tag team. Any tag team predictions?
Me personally, I know I'm going to be playing the Celebi Venusaur tag team deck that revolves around. It's kind of like Primal Groudon. You stick something tanky in the active and just sit there and kind of build up on the Venusaur. I'm actually really excited to play that. I found out about it probably about an hour ago.
Awesome.
And it seems like a lot of fun. I love grass Pokemon.
Yeah, apparently because you made day 2 with Sceptile.
With Sceptile,
yeah. So grass is the way to go with you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You have any more questions for me?
Yeah. So any shout-outs, anything like that?
Yeah, actually what I was going to do. I wanted to give a huge thanks to my friend Manuel Soto. Without him, I don't know if I would have won my last match because we'd play tested the Trevenant matchup countless times. We spent 16 out of 48 hours in a Denny sitting there play testing decks. I want to thank all of my friends, Andrew, Scott, Ryan, Pina, everybody who told me that this was a really bad deck and not to play it. Thank you for doing that because that was exactly why I chose to play it. Thank you for trying to talk me out of playing it because if you'd have told me it was a good deck, I'd have turned around and played something else.
Right. Awesome. Well, that's enough time for this, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being on the channel. It was a pleasure to have you on here.
No problem, man. It's nice to be on an interview.
Awesome, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to share the video for anybody that wants to see a really good Sceptile Vileplume list that made day 2. With that said, guys, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Peace out.